Production. With the commish, Nate.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Press Pass Live, your weekly OMFL podcast show. And boy, we got a loaded gun tonight. We got all kinds of stuff to get into. There's a lot to talk about. And after Press Pass Live is over, I'm rolling straight into my Saints game. So hang out with me if you want. You can watch Saints versus the Washington football team. We're supposed to play as soon as this is over, and so that means I can't go 2 hours. We got to get this wrapped up in then 45 minutes or so, and I'm already talking way too long. What's up, Brian? What's up, Brady? Good to see you guys in the chat. Thanks for coming to hang out with me. We got a special guest to kick us off tonight. We're going to do an OMFL Hot Seat with an old board member who spurred us. He hated us. He left us for a whole Madden cycle. He didn't really hate us, but who I've gotten to know actually a lot better through PUBG and through shooters. I'm going to welcome in my guy Kevin for an OMFL Hot Seat. Kevin, how you doing tonight, bud?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I am doing good. Can you give yourself a little bit more juice? Is that possible? He's giving me the maybe not. Okay, I'm also gonna kill the music here. We're gonna get over here and look at his team as he talks about them. I asked the guy for a photo so we could have his photo up here. I even invited him on video, but he said no, he was not doing that. We did not deserve his face. That's a little bit better. Well, Coach Kevin, I'm going to throw up your roster. You are one of the surprise teams in the OMFL this year. Talk to me about season 97, though. Last year, it was a tough one. What made last season so tough to get through?
Just learning the game. Definitely was a big adjustment, learning what passes I can't make and what passes I can make. And then I had a lot of injuries towards the end, and this season just spiraled, and I got a couple wins at the end to build some momentum, and it looked like it's rolled over into the new season.
Let's talk about that. What do you think has been the biggest change from 97 and 98 that spurred this turnaround?
Well, definitely having a boatload of picks helped. I got a good quarterback in Mcmillan. He's got an arm to make all the throws. I picked up a pretty good tight end, too. He's been a very good weapon in Hall. I got the good left tackle. Just in my defense, I got a good corner. I got my defense real faster. I got a good outside linebacker in the draft. I've gotten my team faster, and my defense has played really good against the run. I got to work getting a little bit better at stopping the pass, but definitely the run. Especially when you can hold the Jaguars to less than 60 yards. Pretty good day.
Talk to me about your import. This was not your import. You kind of took this team over. But what kind of impact player has Mitchell been for your team?
Oh, Mitchell has been a beast. He was good. He was my standout player from last season as well. And with the sim thing, it wiped out all his stats. But before that, he was leading the league in tackles. He had probably like 4 or 5 sacks, a couple interceptions. Fast forward to this season, same thing. He's doesn't have as many interceptions, but he's definitely been a running back nightmare as far as fogging that middle and getting there to make those tackles with his speed at 89.
Coach, you are loaded at impact rookies. You touched on them, the quarterback, the tight end. I think I've seen an outside linebacker in there, a free safety in there, a lot of the left tackle, right? A lot of very impactful rookies. Outside of Mcmillan, who we're going to come back to, who's been the really outstanding, impactful rookie for your team?
That's a good question. I would probably say my strong safety, Carmichael. He's been definitely a big impact. He's got a couple key interceptions and has helped lock down that right side of the field, and did definitely help in the run game.
Let's talk about Philip Mcmillan. He was your first round pick, 81 overall already, 78 speed, but he's got the big arm, 95 throwing power, 83 short, 85 medium, 83 deep. What are the intangibles that Phillip brings to this team that's helped turn things around?
Well, for one, I miss Hurts' speed, but Mcmillan can make all the throws Hurts couldn't. As far as like if the window's a little bit tighter, I can get it in there with Mcmillan. As Hurts, I couldn't make those throws because at 85 throw power, you're not zipping that ball in there. And I don't even really try the deep ball very much because it doesn't work in this Madden. At least not with my team and my wide receivers. I can't ever get luck hitting a streak in this Madden, so I take that out. Um, it's definitely been a much better quarterback.
An aging team in a lot of areas. Offensive line stuck out to me. The defensive line stuck out to me. Is this a small window? Do you feel that you've already hit the reset button and you just have to continue rebuilding this roster?
It's definitely a work in progress as far as the roster. Luckily, in this Madden, it doesn't seem like regression's anywhere what it was in past Maddens where players actually, still stand up at an old age. I mean, Brandon Graham's 34 and the dude's leading the league in sacks. I definitely got to find some more pieces of replacement. On definitely the defensive line. Offensive line, yeah, it's getting pretty old. I know, what is it, Kelsey, he's 34. Brooks is 33. And Johnson's 32 on my whole right sideline. So I know that's work in progress, getting guys in there to replace them because I probably got maybe two more seasons if I'm lucky with some of those guys.
Let's talk about the Jaguars game, 29-27, a game that most people did not think that you would win. If you look at the first quarter, it probably feels like maybe you didn't think you had a chance. 14-9, looks like he was getting touchdowns, you were getting field goals. But after that first quarter, things really turned around. Talk to me about this Jaguars game. What was key to the victory?
Big turnaround was in that, I think it was first quarter. Let me pull it up. I think it was the first or second quarter. Conway, after I kicked the field goal, Conway ripped off a pick six for the touchdown, and then from there, it was right before the end of the first quarter. He picked that off, took it for a pick six, and then from there, we grabbed the momentum and held them to 3 points in the second quarter, 3 points in the third quarter, and then he took the lead in the fourth. And then I drove down and kicked the game winning with like 3 seconds left. And he had 1 second to try a deep pass. Or no, I squib kicked it and he ran out of time.
Coach, what's the ceiling for this team? How have the expectations changed with, I think it's a 5-1 start through 6 weeks?
Yeah, the expectations are obviously pretty high, I'm hoping. But got to take down the king, D. Wayne. Until you can take him down, that's the top dog in the division. Definitely going to be a challenge.
Which happened last year.
Yes, he stomped my mud hole. Stomped a mud hole in me in week. What do you think? I think we played week 2 or 3. I didn't even have a chance.
Week
2. He smoked me. I know the last game of last season, I got him. We'll see what happens in week 18 of this. I'm sure that'll be the dictation of who takes the division.
It's a tough second half of your schedule. Week 9 on, you've got the Lions, the Bears, the Browns, the Titans, the Bucks, who are going to be a brand new owner. So that one's a little up in the air. Not really sure what you're going to get there. Then you got the Colts, Washington football team, Packers, and Cowboys. That is a murder's row. What's this team going to have to do to make that run that you're hoping that you're going to need to make in the second half of the season?
Definitely got to stop turning the ball over. I have a good defense that I rely on a lot, but can't always rely on that. Got to quit throwing interceptions, making the dumb passes, trying to force it. Definitely got to cut those down. I think if I can do that, I've got a good enough defense and definitely a good enough offense to lead me to the playoffs.
Coach, what has been the one area of weakness that you think your team is going to have to improve on for you to make a real run in season 98?
It's definitely going to be turnover. Not turning the ball over, not throwing the interceptions, and being able to slow down the pass. Because when you play a team like Dwayne, I know he's known for his running game, but he's also a very good passer. He's got Prescott dialed in on his pass. And I play a lot of pass-happy teams. The Lions are a very good passer. I haven't played the Colts. I haven't played a lot of the other teams. I know Massimo's a very good passer. Definitely gonna have to be able to find a way to shut down those passing games and limit my turnovers to be able to make that all right.
Who's the one player on this team, offense or defense, that has to step it up?
Offense or defense? Definitely, I'm going to say Fletcher Cox. I expect more out of him at his rating. He just doesn't get the pressure I would like.
Coach, we like to wrap each show up with a little word association. Just tell me the first word or phrase that comes to mind whenever you hear things like Jalen Hurts.
Noodle arm.
NFC East.
Cowboys.
AFC.
The Jaguars.
Best player that you've ever faced.
D-Money.
You're going to have to think about this one. Best Madden player you've ever had in your years of playing.
Ooh, that's actually easy. Couple Maddens ago, the running back I had, I can't think of his name. I drafted, but that dude smoked the league in rushing. Was always at the top.
One team that you want to face in the playoffs this year.
That's a good one. Probably the Cowboys again. I enjoy playing Dwayne. No, a lot don't, but I do enjoy playing them.
Can the Eagles win an OMFL Bowl?
We shall see. Got to take down the King Dwayne.
Offense or defense?
Beef.
Linebacker or DB?
Linebacker.
Man or zone?
Man.
Man or blitz?
Man.
Perfect score to a game?
Perfect score to a game. 34-0.
And finally, Coach, the OMFL.
Best league around.
Coach Kevin, you are officially off the OMFL Hot Seat. That's how you do a hot seat, my guy. Thank you for helping me out, man. I can't go shoot anybody with you tonight, but I'll be back tomorrow night.
Alrighty.
All right, there you have it, friends. Coach Kevin of the Philadelphia Eagles. He's got that team absolutely rolling this year. And I'm glad that he came and jumped on and did a hot seat with me. I kind of challenged him. We had some other hot seats that were really awesome, but they went really long. I was like, tonight I got a game, so we can't go super duper long. Let's jump over here, though, and start looking at some things. Brian, thank you so much you're just like way too kind, brother. I appreciate you a ton. But let's go back over here. Okay, there we go. Now let's go back where we want to go. I want to quickly look at some really awesome games that we had this past week, or actually this current week, because I'm going to be one of the final teams to play here. It's unfortunately his work schedule, and this is just when we could play. But we had some really great games. Chicago and Green Bay go down to a 1-point game. Chicago ekes this one out, and from what I understand, I could be totally wrong about this, but this game came down to a kick return for a touchdown for Chicago. So those two really gone at it. And we've said it for a long time here. When Priest and Smash are playing good football, well, it just makes the NFC all that much better, and the NFC Central all that much more fun to watch. Well, look what their buddies did in the same division. 42-49, Detroit ekes out a victory at home against the Minnesota Vikings, but it looks like the Vikings have found a little something here clearly Detroit has, and they're putting up tons of points. So it looks like they're finding a little something. We talked about it with Kevin, but 29-27 victory. The Eagles beat Jacksonville and just come away with a massive victory at home against one of the top 2 teams in all of the OMFL. You got Pittsburgh and New England to an 8-point game. New England squeaks one out. Miami squeaks out a 6-point victory over Cleveland. Kansas City with a 3-point victory over Denver. And I know my guy Kevin and probably some others lost a lot of money on this one. Just a lot of really good games in week number 6. I'm going to go do mine next and hopefully finish this one off. But this was a couple of games that were worth just taking a second and looking at, because this is the kind of the turning point here in the next like 3 advances, where we're going to start to see the really good teams step up, and we're going to start to get an early look at what some of these early races are going to look at. I want to talk about a couple of the early season surprises, and to do that, I'm going to come over here and look at the standings, and we're going to really spend a lot of time in the NFC, and I don't mean to AFC, but you're not giving me a ton to talk about. It's almost the same old story over there. So there's some surprises over here in the NFC. And we got to talk about this first one here. The 5-1 Packers, 183 points for him, 119 against. He did lose his last game, but Priest has figured some things out. New quarterback, a bunch of new receivers, a bunch of new running backs. I think a new offensive line. His defense is making plays. Priest is rolling right now, and people have challenged me, do they keep this going? And my question is, I still don't think so. He's going to have a little bit of a murder's row in the second half of that season. He's going to play some better teams. He's just throwing a lot of interceptions, and I just have a hard time thinking that teams that throw a lot of interceptions can actually make a really, really big run. And so you've got to give a nod to the Packers as being one of these early season surprises. Another one is the Philadelphia Eagles. We just talked to Kevin with a hot seat. He is doing some great things with a rookie quarterback who's got a dynamic arm, but he's doing what rookies do: 14 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. It's an impressive victory over Brady, but you got a long way to go here. He admitted it. He opened up with it. Dwayne kind of humbled him in week number 2. Well, guess what? You're going to play him again in week number 18. And if you're going to be in the playoffs in the OMFL, you're going to have to play him in the playoffs as well. We can't go on that side, Nate, because nobody can see the teams you're talking about. The Eagles and the Packers are the 2 teams that really caught my eye. But there's also another team over in the AFC. Where are they at? They should not be that low on this list. It's because I'm in the NFC. Duh. Here we go. The Brownies, 5-1. Why aren't you talking about the Ravens? Why aren't you talking about the Giants? Those aren't surprises. Those are really good teams. We already knew that they were really good teams. I'm talking about my surprises here. Massimo has got this team going 5-1. He should be 4-2. Massimo, I'll let you off the hook. How do you miss a chip shot field goal to win the game? I don't know, but I did. He's got that defense playing really good. By far, the best defensive line I have ever faced, have ever seen. This defensive line attacks the football, attacks the quarterback, and if you feel that pressure and force some passes, he'll force you into some bad passes, and I know he definitely did that to me, but he's got some things figured out. I love what the Brownies have done. I love what the Eagles have done. Priest has been really, really impressive with his team. The question is, though, can these teams continue to keep things rolling? And only time's going to tell. And I said the next 4 advances, next 3 to 4 advances are going to be pivotal in showing who are the top dogs and who are the pups that are going to stay home and be playing in the toilet bowl. Now, let's talk about everyone's favorite thing, OMFL rookies. I wish that Madden gave us a better way to look at rookies. I know Daddy Leagues does it. I'm being lazy tonight. Too many buttons. I don't feel like going to push all that. You know what? I'm not. Let's not be lazy. Let's go do it. Okay. All right. I'll talk myself into it. This is not the one we want. This is the one that we want. That's not the one we want either, Nate. We want this one. There we go. Okay. Let's go ahead and see if I don't know what I just said. I just had a stroke right here on camera, but it's okay. What's chat saying? Let me read this real quick. Yeah, Jags and Eagles back to back. Not going to be fun, Trey, but you definitely have some things figured out. I don't know, Smash. He's got a long way to go in my eyes. And he's off to a great start. I'm not going to take that from him at all. But he definitely has kind of a long way to go. Okay, let's talk about some impactful rookies here. You can't start this conversation and almost end this conversation without talking about all of the impactful quarterbacks. We knew that this was a really good quarterback heavy draft this past year. If you don't believe me, wait till you see what comes out this next draft. It's not going to be pretty. Mcmillan for the Philadelphia Eagles, kind of leading in yards when it comes to rookies in the NFC or in all of the OMFL with 16, I think that is at 1682. I don't know. It's really small for my old eyes. And then right behind him, you got Kenny Dickerson for Cleveland, and then you got Michael Sheldon. That's right. I couldn't remember what his name was. I'm like, why is this so small, Daddy Lee? Can we zoom in? We cannot. Well, that sucks. Let's see if we can make this a little bit bigger. I don't know about y'all. That's really stinking hard. That helped a little bit. These are the impactful 3 starters in the OMFL, and they're putting up the stats. And I think it might come down to being one of them, being the OMFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. They're definitely making their teams play like it. All 3 of these teams were bottom-feeding teams, and they're all of the top 3 teams. They're 3 of the teams that we've talked about the most already here on this show. Looking at the running backs, though, you got Walford in Arizona, 606 yards. Kellum in Miami. I told you when I seen that he drafted a running back, that's what Ross does really well. He builds great offensive lines, and he just 3 yards and a pile of dust, right? Like he just hammers the running game, and he's doing that really well with Kellum. Those are the top 2s. I will say, watch out for Revis. You may not see a lot out of him this year because of Kobe's schedule, but you're going to see and hear a lot from him moving forward. That guy's a dynamic playmaker for the Atlanta Falcons. And then you got to talk about Gatewood. Gatewood for Tennessee is making all kinds of plays, 572 yards already. I know that we've got Green Bay's receiver not far from behind him. We've got Ridley for New York Jets, not far from behind him. A lot of good receivers, but really Gatewood is kind of heads and shoulders above everybody else right now. And then the stat that really caught my eye are the sack leaders. You got David Curtis with Green Bay over here. Seeing a lot of Green Bay players here. We've seen a lot of Philadelphia Eagle rookies on his team. So it's not just teams with starting quarterbacks. It's just teams, period, with a lot of impactful rookies. I'm interested to see if season 2, if we see that same amount of impactful rookies, or was that just kind of a loaded class that came out that year? But Curtis is helping lead the Green Bay Packer rookies or all rookies in sacks, but helping lead the Green Bay Packers with a turnaround defense. You got the guy out of Chicago and Denver and Cleveland not far behind him, but that's still going to keep them in the bottom half in sacks overall. But we are not seeing as much of an impact from the defensive side of the ball. But when you got 3 quarterbacks that are putting up the kinds of stats that these guys are, plus the 2 running backs, plus Gatewood, I mean, they're going to get all of the sexy headlines, right? Because everybody loves the really sexy numbers. Now, timeout, Bill. I'm sorry. The Seahawks are not a surprise. You're not. You're a top team. You have been a top team for a long time here. You're not a surprise that you're off to a 5-0 start. Yes, you beat the defending champions, snaps to you, but you're going to have to beat them when it really matters when we get into the playoffs. But you're not a surprise because you're always winning. You always have that team rolling, and you're just doing what you always do. It's not surprising to me really at all. All right, let's get back over here to our quick agenda. What do we have left here? I know that, yeah. My favorite subject. You know what? Here's what we're going to do. Let's go back over here. Let me go ahead. Let's bring this down and bring this up. Nope, wrong one, Nate, this one. Because I think both of the next 2 are actually going to go together. We're going to go here. Interact. Here we go. The reason I'm going to put these two together because a lot of the questions that I already seen came from the same subject, and that is FPR. I think we're just making FPR way too hard. We're making it way too complicated. There's one real golden rule here. Don't do anything at excess. And if you do that, 90% of the time, you're going to be good outside of like some real technical things that we have here, like don't switch when the ball is in the air, don't drop back further than 10 yards, don't throw when you hit the numbers, don't switch on punt and kick returns until after the ball is caught. Like there's some technical questions there, but you know, most of them when it comes to play calling and most of the things that we see and hear are going to come from just not doing anything at excess. So we got a couple questions here. I didn't see Kobe's before, but hopefully I'll be able to cover that one pretty quickly. I also want to make sure that I can see all of your comments. So we're going to put your comments over here. I'm going to move my thing over here. And let's see if we can read through these. And I want to try to make FPR as easy as possible because I think we're only seeing a handful of issues. And I think when it comes, look, no one, what am I trying to say? It is a skill to learn to receive feedback. No one enjoys negative feedback. And when you're giving negative feedback about something we're all passionate about, and that's gameplay, people take that stuff like, you know, people are calling them cheaters or cheesy, and it's all done through text, and it makes for a perfect storm for relationships to get hurt and people to get upset and angry. And I got to be honest with you. I got to be really transparent with you. I've had to fight really hard. This is the time of the physical year where Madden and dealing with 32 other humans and all of the 32 human stuff that comes with dealing with 32 other humans and a broader community of over 300 members, that it becomes very overwhelming. And I start questioning my life of like, why is this the thing that I like? I could do so many other things where I'm happier and people in my life are happier. I'm kind of tired of it. And I've actually seen some relationships get damaged over the last like 2 weeks. And that's really disappointing to me. It's not anything that I want. Like, I actually don't want any of that. But as a leader, you got to make tough choices. And sometimes you got to have tough conversations. And I can't decide how the other people react. And I cannot control other people's decisions. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to be everybody's flavor, but it's still my community and my league. And because of that, you got to make some really tough calls. So I'm setting the stage to say that FPR is not always a really fun conversation, but I'm going to do my best to see if I can answer a couple of things tonight. Here we go. For all the hosts, and it's just me tonight, Trey. I don't know where everybody else is at. He says, we're seeing a lot of bunch, close formations, people attacking the lack of linebacker usability. EA seems to make it so that linebackers can't make an interception unless directly where the ball is going. So these formations give offense a better matchup versus linebackers. I think you're on to something there. I think it's definitely not, I would say the linebacker skill level of the OMFL. I can't speak to general terms. I would tend to assume that you would see this in the general population that play Madden as well, but I can only speak for the OMFL. I think that is the hardest skill level to learn. Right? Defensive line usage is usually the easiest. It's why we lost an owner this week. He felt like because he couldn't play, defensive tackle, defensive end every single play, he needs to go play somewhere else. And that's super sorry to hear, but that's like the lowest. And I don't mean that as a shot because I can't do it. It's a timing thing. If you get that timing figured out, man, you're going to be really dominant. I can't do it. And so I'd say that's where the skill level starts. It's where most of us started playing Madden, and then up from there, I think it's the safeties, right? That's that next level where you can make a mistake, you can make a bad read, and usually recover with a player with enough speed and still be able to make a play. And then right underneath that, I think you're going to have a linebacker usage. I would probably argue with myself a little bit. Madden's past, I would have put DB and then linebacker is the hardest one. But now that L1 doesn't work as well as it used to, I'd probably put DB and linebacker usage kind of even. You're not going to see a lot of people play DB, whether it's the what am I talking about? Camera angles, or whether it's just like people, don't want to leave a wide receiver wide open. You're not going to see a lot of DBs. That's going to be the Jasons of the world. There's a handful of guys here that are really good at it. You're going to see a lot of people try to play linebacker, but in linebacker, one of two things going to happen. You're either going to make a read really quickly. We've seen that FPR come out from the Broncos game. There was really only one of those plays that really concerned me. He was supposed to be playing a zone, and right at the snap was attacking the ball. And it's like, if you're playing zone, you got to take a step or two back, or at least not move for a second or two before you go make a play. Like, you got to read the play a little bit. But I also wouldn't pick one play out of a whole group of, whole game of plays and pick that apart. It's just kind of a cover all. But if you make a mistake playing linebacker, you're either going to leave a receiver wide open, a tight end wide open, a running lane wide open. And I think because of that, some guys try to avoid it unless they have that skill really well. Maybe you see them take a left outside linebacker and they let the CPU kind of do the rest. So I think you're on to something, Trey. I took you like the preacher long route to kind of say that, but I think you're definitely on to something. I think the other thing is that with bunched and closed formations, for whatever reason, I'm assuming it's animation based and AI based, but the cornerbacks just don't line up over players when you're playing man. And so if you play man and they come out in a bunch defense, your outside cornerbacks are usually 2 to 4 yards away from the receiver they're covering. And if it's a drag route, an out route, a crossing route, you're burnt at the snap. Like, there's no way that you can fix it. And then in the OMFL, we don't let you manually move those players. And there's not enough time to manually move those players. There's no button to manually get them to line up straight over where that bunch is. And again, I'm assuming it's because it's animation issues that it would cause. And so it just gives you that automatic wide open player more times than not. The way that you would combat that is a lot of zone, right? But now we're using FPR against you, right? And that's the thing I'm trying to avoid. And I'm seeing now is guys using FPR to keep you from being able to do something. And so what's happening is if guys come out in bunch, the way to combat that is to play like a lot of cover 2, a lot of cover 3. And well, then they would complain you're playing more zone than you're playing man. And then it just becomes a game full of bunch versus zone. Like I said, in the FPR court, that's not a fun game. That's not the kind of gameplay that we're aiming for. So I think that bunch, close, tight, whatever name, there's 100 different names for those formations. It's the normal lineup of receivers, the outside receivers primarily. Those are the formations that I think have to be used strategically. And I don't mean every third down, which is another issue that we see. Every third down, guys come out in that because they know that more times than not, they're going to get a head start. If they play zone, I'm going to run some crisscrossing routes, and I'm probably going to get AI mixed up on the zone. I'm going to have an open player. If you play man, I'm going to have a drag or crossing route, maybe a poster route, where I've already got a 2 to 3 yard head start on your DB. And so in the NFL, that's why those formations are there, to cause those misalignments, to cause those mismatches. But when you're playing a game that's AI based, I would tend to say it causes a lot of issues. So we think that they can be used, but they just have to be mixed in with other things and not leaned in on when I need a third down conversion, when I need a touchdown, when I'm running, 6 out of 8 plays or bunched and closed formation. So that's why I think that it's something that needs to be managed. And for guys who are like, well, I don't get the problem, I just explain the problem. This is why we don't want to see a bunch of those formations. Even in that, I forget exactly what it's called. I think it's called X or Y or Z. I think it's got all of them, a close formation where your one receiver is out normal, but the second receiver is in tight. Even I got that in my playbook. You just want to see that sprinkled in and used not as something that is a major tool. The rule of thumb is any 2 tight end formation or 3 tight end if you wanted to. I don't know how I feel about 3 tight end. Right now, it's totally cool. If you want to run 3 tight end, 1 receiver offense, I guess go have fun. But any 2 tight end offense where your 2 outside receivers are lined up in their normal position, and then any other pro formation, strong, weak, even like why am I blanking? Pistol, right? Where your outside receivers and tight ends are lined up in their pretty normal positions, because it is an AI thing that we're not trying to like get AI all confused and mixed up. That's yeah, you see, it happens, right? Again, I don't expect people, a great comment, Trey. He said he called a screen, he threw it to the receiver. I don't know how you accidentally throw to a receiver on a screen. That's a little confusing. I think we just got to own it. I threw it to a receiver on a screen, and I just forgot that that's a rule you can't have. Because again, it's an AI thing. The defense is going to react to the screen. That wide receiver is not a real route in the NFL. That's just a clear out route to get your DB to run. And so when we throw a route that play's got one design, throw it away or get it to the halfback or fullback, or, whoever the screen is designed for. So, all right, let's get to Bill's question. Nate, why do you think some people have such a difficult time abiding by FPR rules? In my opinion, they're pretty straightforward. As long as someone is not trying to take advantage of the AI flaws in the game, should not come to an issue to follow. Do you think OMFL coaches who play in multiple online leagues, which do not have such strict gameplay rules, negatively affect said coaches abiding by OMFL FPR? That's fair, Trey. I think. I get what you're saying. Maybe. Bill, good point. I can't speak for other owners. I had another owner ask me a similar question. I guess not fair. He asked me a question to think for somebody else, which is kind of what your question is asking me. I can't speak for other people. Clearly, you guys are watching. I can barely speak for myself tonight. I'm dying of thirst too. My water bottle's way over there. So before I start playing my game, I got to go get my water bottle. I try not to speak for other people. I can barely speak for me. I can say it's a theory. It may be true. It may not be true. I could see if I were in multiple leagues. I'm not. I'm playing this one. This is my main league, my only league. I could see where things would get blended and hard. For guys who tell me they have to, track every play that they do on a notebook while they play. Or one guy told me he prints out the rules and has them next to him. If they play in multiple leagues, I don't feel bad about that. If they don't, they just play here, I feel bad about that. This is supposed to be fun. And the rules are not here to like strictly garner gameplay. It's supposed to just keep people from having clear boundaries of what abuses a video game and what keeps things fair. And we're just trying to keep things fair here. The NFL is set up for parity because parity drives ratings, which drives money, which makes it the most powerful organization and probably the world sports organization, even though I'm sure there's some soccer organizations that are probably more powerful, at least in America it is, but it's becoming a worldwide game. And that's because people feel like every season, no matter who your team is, that you have a chance to go all the way. And that's what we try to do in the OMFL. Even when we know we have the D-Moneys, the D-Waynes, the Bradys, the Penguins, right? These really good teams in the OMFL. I want guys to think or to know that when they load up, if they put in the time, the effort, the energy, build the team, put in the practice, that you can go win an OMFL Bowl, that it is an achievable goal, because it is not fun to stay and play in a league and be engaged and get the fullest experience out of something unless you think that you really have a chance. No one likes to lose. We all like to win. It feels good. I also argue it can't be about winning. And Maniac, not the way you put it either. It's got to be about engagement and content creation and relationships and rivalries and kind of that strive that there's nothing better than a great chess match of a game. My game with Massimo, almost all my games, even my games with Kobe, like these are fun, hard fought, win or lose battles that just feel like a chess match. You're going to do this, I'm going to do this, and you're going to do this, I'm going to do this. And none of us are taking advantage of AI flaws and doing things that the game allows. If you want to know the opposite of the gameplay that we want here, go watch any Madden competition and just do the opposite of what you see all of them do, because they take advantage of flaws in the game to win money. And we're trying to take the flaws out of the game as much as we can to make it a fair, even field where there's parity. So, all right, let's get to Kobe's and then we'll wrap things up. Also, I got a new mic arm for my microphone. And I geek out about stupid technology. You guys can't even see this thing, but I absolutely love this thing. I also got a new desk coming, but I am dying to get in my studio later this year. All right, he says, for all the hosts, what makes the team you coach special? We're going to save that one. Is it your favorite team that you grew up attached to, or just like the talent there? I'm going to save all of that. We're going to use that one, but when I get somebody with me, Kobe, so we'll come back to that one. And what has been your favorite game that you've been a part of so far this cycle? Ooh, and that's a good question. I think my game against the Panthers, it came down to what ended up being technically an FPR break, and I got a warning as a commissioner of this league. The board gave it to me. I still say it isn't. I wouldn't have given anybody else a warning for it, but it came down to no timeouts. I completed a pass inside the 7-yard line. I'm just pressing buttons to get a play off because it's like 5 seconds left, or I think there was 12 seconds, but after the runoff, there's like 3 seconds. So it's literally like hold the button for no huddle and just smash the button to just hike it. And I knew I couldn't run the exact same play. So I just audibled. I hit the first, that is the snap button, X, right? X snaps. Yeah. So I hit the X button because that's the snap. And I'm pounding the snap button. So it changes the play. It snaps it. And I'm figuring out what the play is after the snap. And it was a handoff. And I happened to take it in. I did not think that was going to happen. I'm still shocked to this day that happened. Technically, it's an FPR break because you can't run a shotgun run inside the 10-yard line. So I got popped forward, but Panther was kind of cool about it. He didn't throw a fit about it or anything, really. It was just a really great game, and I still stand by. If that would have happened to anybody else, I'd have done the same thing that I would have done to me, I guess. I wouldn't have given me a warning. I would have been, hey, like, we're playing football. The guy's just trying to get a playoff, but kind of is what it is. Now, beating Dwayne felt good in the moment, but also equally, Jana had fed him some adult beverages, and I think that helped me as well. How much do games played matter to awards? Huh? What do you mean? What are you talking about, Trey? You gotta give me some explanation of that. Okay, I'm going to end with one last FPR thing, and then I'm going to tell you guys about what's coming up on tomorrow. We have a giveaway for the community, and we're doing a live stream, but hold on to all that here in just a second. So the last thing about FPR, we've talked about bunched and closed, which is probably one of the bigger issues here. I think the other issues are guys just calling the same thing back to back, same style of play. It is what, especially on defense, right? If you call 2 zones back to back, 2 mans back to back, totally cool. But if you're calling 3 zones back to back, if you're calling 2 zones, 2 blitzes, 2 zones, that's 6 play. Like, we're not mixing that up. Now, that's not a blanket statement. And I mean by that is that, like, if you're in a blowout, if you're trying to come back, if you're trying to keep them from coming back, you know that they have to pass a lot inside the 5-yard line, I think is what the rule is. I have to go look again. We loosen and lax those rules because you're limited on what you have to do. But I expect teams to run man on third down. I expect teams to run some type of man inside the 10-yard line. I expect teams to mix it up and find areas to run defenses that would normally put you at maybe a disadvantage. You have to find ways to mix it up. You have to be intentional about your play calls and mixing it up. And to do that, you have to find ways to call other types of play. And I think that's where we see the most struggles, is guys tend to lean on specific things, and we have to mix it up a little bit more than that. Look at Stafford. He's top in passing touchdowns, like 13th in yards, but probably won't get any award considerations, and he'll have one less game. What are we talking about, though, Trey? Are we talking about awards that we do in the league, or are we talking about awards for the video game, or like in the game? Because in the game, I don't care. I have no clue how it works. Wouldn't know how. I don't care. If you're talking about the league, which I think you are, here's another. Oh, here we go. Here's another conversation I'm over. We can't put 75 guys on every award. It is impossible. That is a job that is, what's the word I'm looking for? It is no one pats you on the back and tell you a good job. Everybody thinks their player should be on the awards. That's why I loved about Colin. He didn't care. Colin, I think, has zero. I think Colin doesn't have a heart. I think he's just got like a brain and fingers and toes and eyes. That's about it. I don't think he has a heart, because he just didn't care what any of you thought. My guys never made any award considerations, and Colin never paid any attentions to my little jabs at him about it. It is just, I can't put 7 players on an offensive award list, because everybody's going to get like 3 votes. Like, there has to be a line drawn somewhere. And sometimes that's hard, and it's up to personal preference. And so maybe Lost doesn't like the color blue that day, and so your guy doesn't get consideration. So I think it's just a terrible job, and it's impossible. It just is impossible. And Lost has his own way of doing it, and I don't tell him what to do. And the reason why, because Trey, you've been on the board, right? I'm being really loud. I'm waiting for my wife to get up and tell me I'm being really loud. But I'm also tired of being quiet on these, and like I feel like I got to squash my personality whenever I do these, because they're so late at night. Another reason I can't wait till I get in my own thing, my own studio. It's just like Pro Bowl, like the things that guys make my life a living hell and the board's life a living hell over drive me insane. It's like there's so many extra ways to earn XP in this league. So many things that we do. We complain about the really good things. And I know you're not complaining, Trey, but we get the complaint. I get the complaint all the time, and it drives me insane. Well, why didn't my guy do it? Me and Kobe got into it. I'll say it. Kobe got a warning because he wouldn't shut up and chat about his guy not getting in there. It's everybody has a list of 10 players you think should be in there. That's why you have the Pro Bowl. You can all send me your entire list. I'll compare them, and I'll pick the best that I can. But at some point, the line's got to get drawn, and no one's going to like where that line's going to get drawn. There's no way to include everybody, because we know not all 32 owners are going to vote. 24 to 26 are going to vote, and if you put 6 guys on the list, it's a skewed number, and then we end up having like 4 guys tied because everybody got 2 votes. It's like, well, that's not what we want either, right? At some point, you have a really good player. You have Matthew Stafford. I'm just picking on you because you brought this up, right? And feel free to go put this in there. I'll give you credit for it. Boom, boom. Because I'm gonna tell you the next complaint. I'm gonna connect these 2 bad boys. You have an 83 overall quarterback who's 34, who's probably going to be maxed out in almost every area that you could add to. Maybe not. Staffy's got some room that you could throw a lot of in there. But that ends up being the other issue, is that guys win awards like Pro Bowl, like an award, and then they come to me and they go, Nate, I can't use the XP because they're maxed out everywhere. Can I use it somewhere else? No, you have a great player. That is your award. Like, this isn't free. You get XP, you get XP, you get XP. Everyone here leaves with XP. Check underneath your chair. That's not how this works. I know you're not complaining, Trey. Totally know that you're not. I'm just picking on you because you brought this up, but it does become really, really difficult. Colin did it for years. I did it for a little bit. I have to do it for the Pro Bowl, and that becomes really difficult. Loss does the very best that he can, and it just becomes hard. And you cannot have a massive list because the numbers get too spread out. You have a bunch of players tied, and then we have to put up revotes, and it just takes long. It's not worth it. It's 3 XP. You'll earn 3 XP on your next dice roll. Forget about it. Just let it go, right? Hey, free piece of content. Go make an 8-minute video. Go write a 2-paragraph article about how you were stuffed or not point out or not given an award and how Matthew Stafford's pissed off and you're going to come. Like, I'm giving you free content. Go make free content, right? But I hope that you see a little bit inside of the brain staff. I don't understand the question, though. I don't mean to call back to your question because you asked a question like Bill asked a question, Colin. I should say Colin is the one where it's like there's a jab in the question, and it's not like I'm not punching you in the face, Nate. I'm just giving you a little elbow on the side when you walk by, like just enough to where if you say that I elbowed you, I'm gonna say it was an accident and you can't prove it, but I know it was just a little elbow shot as you walk by, but because there's no reason to say, where's it at? How much do games played matter to awards? What do you think the answer to that is, Trey? Games don't matter. We just make it up. We just find names that sound good and we put it up. You know that games matter. It's a crappy question, but I get why you asked it. Everybody asked it. Same thing with Pro Bowl. The line has to get drawn, and sometimes, guess what? We just feel like other guys had better seasons than your guys, and we're sorry that you don't agree. Go put up better numbers. That's the only thing I can say. So, last thing, and then I'm going to find out if my guy is ready to play tonight, because it is time to play. Let me make sure. I don't see him. Last thing, we are coming out with a brand new show. Trey's not letting this go. More so say a guy throws 4,400 yards, 33 touchdowns, plays 17 guys. No. Okay. That was the clarity. Now I understand your question a little bit better. There's zero way that we could look at games. Like, now you're asking for full-time employment here. We don't have that kind of time. No one is looking and comparing games. It's just not happening. We look at the final stats. I would say if a guy is that close in stats, you missed it, Maniac. Just hit the rewind button. You're way off. If a guy throws 32 touchdowns, 3,900 yards, so he's 1 touchdown less and 500 yards less, those two dudes are really close. They'll probably both be in it. But now if your guy throws for 3,300 yards and 28 touchdowns compared to 4,400 yards and 33 touchdowns, then no, you probably won't get included. And yes, games would matter in that point. Just like games matter for offensive line, snaps matter. If you get an offensive lineman who's hurt 3 games out of the season and he gives up 0 sacks, but I got a guy who only gave 1 sack, but he played 400 more plays, 200 more plays. Well, he's going to go in above you. I know he gave up a sack and you didn't, but he was there for all the games, and that's something that matters. So that's where we're at on that one. Okay, moving on past all that. I didn't spend as much time on FPR as I wanted to, but I'm a little drained by all the FPR conversations today. Last thing, we are unveiling a brand new show tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern, called Grown Folks Live. Actually, I think I got the name from Maniac. And this is going to be a monthly show that we do for the entire community. Maybe I can talk my guy Pooty into doing more than a monthly show, maybe bi-weekly or something, where we give updates. I kind of blasted it out to the entire leadership of Grown Folks. They can submit updates. It's an advertisement. I can advertise for open teams. I can give updates, talk about games or special giveaways, whatever they want, about the entire community. So every Madden League, all the clans, all the shooters, it's just going to be a monthly show for us to talk about news, talk about updates, all that fun stuff. I tried to get OMFL news off the ground. I needed help with it. There's no way I could do it by myself. I am too busy and needed people to help get me content. No one could help me keep me up with content. And so I kind of canned it. This is going to be my answer to the news. And then we're going to clip out little sections for other pieces of content. And to do that, we're going to give away some Battlefield 2042 codes. It's for the community only. So if you're in this community, we're definitely giving away the codes. These are PlayStation 5 codes. And I think we have 3 Ultimate Edition codes to give away. I posted the link in every shooter chat plus the main chat. I'll post it again tomorrow. We're taking entries all the way up until 3:30, so 30 minutes into the show for you to enter to win. You do not have to be present to win, but I am encouraging you to come hang out with us. The vision, the dream is to have call-ins and be almost like a sports talk show where we're talking about updates and news around games, updates around our league, and then taking in call-ins. I want to get this to start taking in call-ins. I got to figure out, I love having y'all in the chat, but I want to start taking call-ins some way, somehow. And I'll also say this as I close out the night and go see if our other guys got an opportunity to play, because he didn't answer me. I'm hopefully he's around. Oh, there he is. Yeah. So we're about to go play Santa. So I'm not even going to take this down. I'm just going to probably pause. No, actually I am. I'm going to take it down and put it right back up. So just hang out. You'll see another one pop up, and it'll be me versus the Washington football team. I am looking to completely change the way I do Press Pass Live, the way I do Grown Folks Live, even though I haven't done one. I'm doing one on Monday or tomorrow. I want to do something different. There's 8 billion streamers on YouTube, and most of them are doing what I do. They have a nice camera, they have lightings, they have stuff behind them, they play video games, and yes, some of them have music like I do, and some have neat transitions, and some have different camera angles, but it's all basically the same thing. It's you watch me play a video game, and I just want to do something different. I tossed an idea out at Pooty, but he didn't like it, and I was like, Grown Folks, let's play an old board game on camera. I could set up another camera angle and you could tell me what to do. We could figure out a way to play a board game. And then while we're playing a board game, talk news, talk sports, have a conversation while we play. I don't know if there's there. I think there might be something there. I don't know. I'm gonna keep chewing on it, but I'm looking for ideas. So if you have a creative, different, neat idea, something totally out of the box, I'm looking for ideas because I'm just tired of doing what everybody else does. I'm also looking for a way to start more integrating what I do in my other channel, which please do me a favor. I'm asking for a favor. My personal channel is Home Church 217 on YouTube. I have 40 subscribers. I got to get that thing up over 100. I don't know where my Evolve guys are. Brian, let me know where Evolve is. We're trying to get Evolve over 100. Help both of us get over 100. Evolve Sports on YouTube and Home Church 217. The number 2, the number 1, the number 7, 217. It comes from Acts chapter 2, verse 17. Go read it. It's kind of the foundation of who we are here at Home Church. Go get us some subscriptions. But I'm looking for a way to interconnect more of who I am. This is who I am. I'm a pastor. I'm a trainer, a coach. I'm looking to tie all these things together more often and just kind of be more of myself. So go give us some subscriptions. Go help us, help my buddies at Evolve Sports. We're still keeping our conversations going. Brian's very busy. He's got a lot going on. I've thrown some things at him. He's throwing some things at me. We're kind of talking it out. I talked about Monopoly in real life. Can you imagine like playing real Monopoly, like on a board with another camera angle shooting down and two of us on camera, and like he rolls dice at his house and I move it and I roll dice, and I think that would be fun, even though Monopoly would take like 6 hours. So maybe Monopoly doesn't work. I don't know what does or doesn't work. Or maybe we just have a Monopoly game that always stays. Like we just play it every month, right? And we just keep it together. So anyway, lots of fun stuff. Okay, guys, I love you. Right now, I just released a sermon today, Home Church 217. Go get us a subscription. Brian, let us know in chat, how many are we up to on Evolve? Hopefully we're growing it. Hopefully we're getting those numbers up. Go follow my guys over at Evolve Sports. But the thought today was the power of our mouth. And I think it is my worst enemy. It is not only in my profession, it's my worst enemy because it doesn't always work. You see me on chat all the time say things stupid, and so it's my worst enemy there. But it's also Nate's worst enemy in life because often it says a bunch of things that are not true, and it says a bunch of lies that are not true about me, my situation, and my life. And the issue with the mouth is it is very powerful. Here's the one thought. The words that come out of your mouth will shape the direction of your life because it is a signifier of what's going on in your mind, which is processing things from your heart. If you want to change the direction of your life, change the way that you use the words that you say about yourself, because it's really easy to be kind to people who leave. It's a lot harder to be kind to the person that stays here and the conversations that no one else can hear. So you're going to see some stuff come out from me, Nate Lejeune, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, Home Church 217, on all social media. We also have an app, and we have our own app, Home Church 217, anywhere that you download apps. If you're on a spiritual journey, we want to walk that out with you. We believe in making the principles of God applicable in our home so that it affects our real lives and our neighbors and loved ones' lives around us. So have a great week. Watch your words this week. Watch how you talk to people, but watch how you talk to you. Be kinder to you this week. Be more patient, understanding to you. Oh, we got you up 22. Hell yeah, man. Let's keep building up Evolve Sports. But I want you to be intentional about the words that you use about you this week. All right. Coming down for about 2 minutes, coming right back up. So come back and join us here in just a little while, guys. I love you. See you in just a second.
Smash that like and subscribe.